program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip. And your audio's a little low.
I'm CJ.
Okay, there we go. And it's a Friday, and guess what? We've had all kinds of people contact us. The budget is out, and amazingly enough, everything we said about the budget is true.
No.
Yeah.
Are you serious? We were actually right again?
Well, I mean, you know, the mayor's contending he's saving a couple of $1 million because zero-based budgeting. I'd like to see where he's doing that specifically. You know, they're making numbers up. We saw at the council meeting this week, Kathy Ann, the budget is predicated on net school spending that they actually don't have a number for, and arguably a contract for waste removal that has a blank line for incidentals, and it hasn't really been agreed to. We don't know if we're going to have to maintain DPW or DCM or whatever after the unfair labor practice. Look, the only thing that we can be sure is correct in the budget are the tax increases and fee increases. That's the only thing you can take to the bank, or go to the bank to take your money and give it to them, because that's the reality. That's what we have here. Again, they love that, you know, and we're gonna hear it. We have to do it. No, you don't have to do it. Go to a 112, go to receivership. You've gotta stop the bleeding here. I mean, all they know how to do is tax, and never any consequences. They don't pay the loans, they just pay the interest. They miss a grant that could have relieved us of most, if not all, of the CSO burden. That department head was never terminated, was never even censured. It just goes on and on. We've seen them before the council making these ridiculous numbers. And all we can say is we are going to tax to the maximum of 2.5, and probably actually in excess, because some of these other things that they're raising are actually, I think, fall under the purview of actually being a tax. But the fact is, again, here we go, and then we've got the people on the radio, we've got the minions on the radio saying, oh yeah, everybody wants, everybody's ready to pay taxes for good. Look, nobody can afford it. We can't afford $2 bags. They got a 60% compliance rate for $2 bags. You know, I mean, has anybody in this government been paying attention? Did anybody remember that we went from second to last for income? We have the lowest income in the state. Where are they getting this money from? They're bleeding rocks. So we've got our 1%ers that will march in front of the council and try to continue with the myth that, you know, you're supposed to pay taxes every year. You're supposed to have a tax increase every year. Really? And who made that rule? Who made that rule? I want to know who made it, because I remember years ago when this city had almost 100,000 people, most of whom have now moved to the burbs because of what they've done to the city. We didn't get tax increases when we had 10 or 12 million in free cash. I remember having to take zero, not only zero, but every union in the city took zeros. No administrators got pay raises because the city was in a little financial difficulty. They were beginning to go into the free cash, and it was getting too small. It was dwindling, our savings account. And then somewhere along the line, all the voters who used to throw these politicians out if they had the audacity to raise taxes, they all moved away. And now we've got these people in here that continue to march in front of the city council and say every year, I don't know what everybody's complaining about. You're supposed to get a tax increase every year. Really? Do you get a pay increase every year? Not if you work in private industry. Do companies that are in financial trouble increase their operating costs? No. They try to decrease their operating costs. Only in government. And you know why? Because they don't pay. So everybody, get out your signs and get out your pitchforks and your torches, because I think the revolution is coming again. Because this budget, again, the only thing in that budget that you can say is accurate are your taxes and fees.
I think it's funny, Chip, and I was looking. Sorry about that. I'm looking at some of the budgetary numbers, and it's making me laugh. I've got them on the.
You do have your antacid in there, right? You're looking at the budget. Okay. I just want to check.
Yeah, I've got some Prilosec running around, and here's his. Remember the big savings, the big reduction. The big reduction is $461,781 increase in this year's budget. What a savings. I love how an increase in the budget equates to a savings. $461,000, for the sake of argument, $462,000. Call me a liar for 200 and change. So this is how we're saving money. Now, they put the reduction of free cash spending is somewhere around $1 million and change. They're going to reduce that. Do we even have it? Because guess what? $2.7 million is owed to the school department. But Kathy Ann says, we're going to appeal it even though we know we're going to lose. So this is the competency of this administration. And the big question that's running around in Fall River is the boy emperor's empire crumbling? His chief of staff allegedly resigned. Why? Did he resign because he designed this lovely budget, which has got lots of pretty pictures?
He can't afford the taxes and fees, and he's moving back to Tiverton.
Right, lots of pretty pictures. I love the way they put it. Do they think they're Newton?
Yeah, well, they wish.
They got lots of pretty pictures in this, and then it says page intentionally left blank. Bottom of the page, they stop with the numbers. I'm like, do you know what intentionally left blank means? But I have to say very clearly right now, we got an email from many of our viewers as usual, and I have to laugh, and I'm going to read this. Hi guys, you've been on fire this week. Did you see the mayor's budget? Another 2.5% property tax hike, along with the rest of the tax increases disguised as fees. If this city council do-nothings have decided to serve as speed bumps, then it's time to get some petitions going to file a lawsuit against the city for violation of Prop 2.5. This is one of many, many emails, phone calls, text messages demanding that the people of Fall River revolt.
And you know something? He or she, whomever, is 100% correct. This has gone to the point of, I believe that we truly need another. As I said, it's always a last resort till you do things like this, a recall. But I think we've gotten to the, this is it. This is the court of last resort, because if you look at what's going on here, I mean, we had the financial team, quote unquote, up there admitting they have absolutely no idea how much this city owes in net school spending. We're going to defer it to next year, and everything's off till next year, yet they're going to propose a budget, and the city council's going to approve it when we know none of those figures, none of those projections are even close. Well, we're going to appeal, but we're probably going to lose, and I wouldn't take that bet. I mean, is this fiscal prudence? I mean, I think they're being malfeasant in their duty if they approve this thing. This is absolutely insane. I mean, look, it seems that Fall River defies the law of physics. I mean, about the only law of physics that we really adhere to is that crap floats, because there's plenty of it around here. And you know something? I mean, even though guys like Milton Friedman, a Nobel Prize winning economist, who, you know, I always talk about, people, oh, you and your Milton Friedman. Well, the guy was a pretty brilliant guy. He was like the Einstein of economics. So the guy really knew what he was doing. He was smart enough to get a Nobel Prize in economics. And, you know, and he and many, many other economists say that taxes are regressive. They hurt the economy. Winston Churchill said you can't tax your way out of poverty. It's like standing in a bucket and trying to lift the bucket. You're not going to do it because you're standing in it. I mean, people that have far more experience and are far more expert in the field of economics and in government. Winston Churchill was a pretty good government official. I mean, he managed to guide Britain through WW2. All these people tell you that taxes are aggressive. You know, if you give people more money, it stimulates the economy, and obviously it does, because if you look at places like Newton, and they have very high incomes and they have very healthy economies. They have far more businesses, and the businesses are thriving because people have money. But in Fall River, the thing seems to be, our plan seems to be to drive every single taxpayer that can afford to move out of the city, have all the rest that are on fixed incomes and who can't afford to get out of the city to lose their properties, and then fill the city up with market housing, quote unquote, code word Section 8, because you know who's going to move to the city, and let the rich sit up on the hill and look over the chaos that the rest of the city is, and they fiddle while Fall River becomes a giant cesspool, and it's well on its way. And this budget is the culmination. I'm gonna, you know, you're gonna say this is a very, very strong word, but it's true. This, and it's been going on, but this is the culmination of the genocide of the taxpayers in the city of Fall River. Because a genocide is a systematic removal or extinction of something. And they are
Extermination.
Yeah,
Extermination.
well, we're not. Well, they're not exterminating us. They're just casting us out. So, I mean, but it is a genocide because it's a systematic extermination or removal of everybody in attack. We've seen on a national level that the middle class has virtually disappeared in the United States. Well, the few people with a decent job left in Fall River that aren't on a fixed income, that have the ability to get out, they're going to get out. I mean, you know, and then we have these buffoons talking about bringing tourists in and having people move into the city. Are they paying attention? I mean, obviously they're not paying attention. And I'm going to tell you something. Look, the mayor submitted the budget. It's a joke because none of the numbers are accurate. I mean, when a city administrator says, I have absolutely no idea if we're right or they're right, but I think we're wrong, but we're going to appeal anyway just to delay the process so we can get through the budget, or the BS rather than the budget. But because they have to get through this budget. You know why? Your money. They have to get into your pocketbook. And once they pass the budget, all these new fees will come in and the tax rate will go up. And the only thing we've accomplished is taking more money out of the taxpayers. Because none of these problems will go away. Terry Sullivan will be back in a month later asking for more money. Somebody else will be in. Then there'll be a shortfall. Then we're going to have to do this. And then, we're $6 million in the hole. These numbers weren't exactly accurate. They want to compare themselves with Newton. They want to have pictures. Well, the difference with Newton is I encourage all our viewers to go online and look at a Newton budget. It's a fascinating piece of work for a Fall Riverite to look at. They actually have each department, and they have a synopsis of everything that department did in the last fiscal year. They also have everything that department was supposed to do in the past fiscal year, and a reason why it wasn't done if it wasn't done, although most things are done. Then they also have everything that's on that department's plate for the new fiscal year. They don't add things. They don't, and those department heads are held responsible. They plan. It's preemptive. It's not reactive. And everything we do in Fall River is come up with these ridiculous numbers that everybody knows they're wrong. And the councilors are all going to nod their heads and whine and ask questions and shake their heads. And at the end of the day, they're all going to go, well, we got to do it. We can't go to a 112 budget. We can't go to receivership. Well, you know something? If we truly are in receivership, we belong in receivership. If we can't handle our money, we need to go to a 112 until we can handle our money. And the people of this city, those who are left, the few that still pay their bills and have to pay their taxes, should rise up. And you're right, CJ. There is going to be a reckoning. These people are fed up, and I think they're very well, after this budget cycle, maybe some recall initiatives.
Chip, it truly is amazing the fact that the people just, I don't know, they're upset, they're angry, they're trying to get the message across to some of these idiots, and it's not happening. And truly, the recall process is a last-ditch effort, but this time they don't want to stop with the mayor. They want to take out city councilors. They're tired of hearing, well, sometimes you have to vote for it even though you know it's wrong. That's a principle, which we've dubbed the Pereira principle, that people need to get away from, and they need to understand that you honestly can't do that. And what's really interesting is, and I think I finally found it somewhere. Yes, I did. I did find it. I have found the city council and mayoral battle cry for the people of Fall River. And I think it's going to be very interesting when we actually end up hearing that. So I'm not sure if we can get it on the air, but I know where to get it. There it is. We have the battle cry. Exterminate! Exterminate! I think the dialects are in the building.
But no, you're right.
This is what happens. This is what happens. Okay? And that's exactly, and people think that sounds funny and it's really such an exaggeration. But every time a city councilor votes yes, this is what happens to the Fall River taxpayer. Exterminate! We are going to change the affirmative vote in the city council, so every time they vote for a transfer of money or vote for the budget, the affirmative response is exterminate. And that way the people know we don't care. We don't care. As far as we're concerned, it's time for you to go.
Well, it's actually, I think that they don't care, and we do care, and it's time for us to take the government back, because the reality is that, they've got the let them eat cake philosophy. It's like, what do they care? They're all starving in the streets. Well, let them eat cake. I got mine. I got a good job. I got plenty of money. I'm driving around in a nice car. I live in the Highlands. What do I care? The tax rate doesn't hurt me. Look, we got Kenny Fiola marching up there every year saying, what are you people complaining about? Taxes, you got to have a tax increase every year. No, you don't.
No.
You don't gotta, if you want to do in Fall River language.
Hey,
you don't gotta,
that's right.
Kenny. And I want to know how much. You don't worry about your taxes because you're making enough off the parking garage across the street.
That's right.
From City Hall to pay your taxes every year.
That's right.
Not all of us have got a piece of the parking garage like you do.
And that's not one parking garage, there's several.
I know, but I mean, just
And parking lots.
just the one across the street, he gets a monthly check.
Gets enough money from it, doesn't he?
And he gets enough money to pay his
Right.
taxes, probably, without a doubt. Although he may have a palatial estate. I don't know where he lives.
And always
I don't know where
remember-
the Fiola estate is, and I really don't care. But
And always remember, the people who seem to have no problem with saying, yeah, tax them, let them eat cake, they live up on Meridian Street. They don't even live in Fall River proper. They live in the woods. They live on the outskirts of town with an overlook of the city water supply.
yeah, they live in Fall River in the part that's not really Fall River.
Exactly.
They're more like Westporters. It's like the ones who live up on Indian Town Road.
Yeah.
Way out in the boonies. It takes you longer to get there than to get to Providence.
Exactly.
So I know because I had a few runs out there for fires. But this is the problem. The problem is the city council has to stand up and be counted. They have to do something to stop this. When are we going to stop? I mean, we haven't paid a dime, to my knowledge, on the trucks that we bonded for DCM.
I just received a message
Uh-oh.
from one of our viewers who's asking, can you guys do a budget show?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that.
Well, what's interesting is that I think a budget show is going to be a special. It's going to have to be like 5 days worth of sifting to go through it, because if I remember correctly, the way a very reputable accounting firm said is, who does this?
Yeah, they said, I can't, but, I've never seen anything, but if we do a budget show like this, it's going to take a little while to get ready because
Yeah.
when we do it, we're going to do it right. We want to compare it with last year's budget. We want to go by position,
Well,
expenditure
this
by
new
expenditure.
This new budget is compared to this year's and last year's in certain
Well,
parts. Again, I can't believe any number.
You can't believe anything. It's like the firefighters' budget a few years ago when I went before the council. They actually laid off, with city money, 14 firefighters, and they said, oh, no, we didn't really lay off 14 firefighters, only like 11. Well, no, you did lay off 14 firefighters, but you hired a new captain and 2 new lieutenants. So this is Fall River. You reduce the complement of men and you increase the number of supervisors. So number one, that wasn't the correct action. We were having trouble with manning, and firefighters fight the fires. You don't need more supervisors when you have less men to supervise. So these are the kind of little things in the budget that you don't pick up. It's like you have to really scrutinize them, and we want to be able to show the people, because when they come up with these numbers and say, oh, well, like the mayor said, I eliminated 4 middle management positions. Well, 4 middle management positions. Number one, then you hire a guy and give him almost 100,000. You wanted to give him 110. Now it's down to 98 for supervising a half a department, which is now less than half because you took away a third of the manpower by eliminating DCM or attempting to. So these are the kind of things that even though they look like a savings, are they? Because just like what happened with the lawyer, we're going to remind you again. We said it here first on Spindle City Straight Talk when they said they eliminated 1 attorney in the law department. We said that position would come back.
And it did.
And it did.
And
it takes them a little time. It's kind of like when the politicians, cousin that's in the spectrum, They got to get them a job, but but they got to wait a little while before they slide them back in under the radar because there's too much heat.
Yeah.
We said, and the thing is, those middle management positions have to come back because the fact is, if you have anybody to manage, the department head isn't going to go out and drive around on the trucks. Middle management has a real responsibility. They oversee the day-to-day operations of the. So when they make these kind of cuts, they're just window dressing. They're just a diversion to make you think that, and ultimately all this stuff filters its way back in because some other political hack gets a job.
Wow. Political hacks, they exist, huh? But it's very interesting because, again, the lawyer that came back is a political hack or a payback to a political hack. And the law department doesn't do anything. They contract everything out. They contract it out to the firm that's representing them in the
Collective bargaining.
The labor relations thing. They represent them in collective bargaining. They do all of it. Why did we hire Joe Macy? Why did we hire Sarah St. Pierre? What's Gary Howiak doing? I know Gary Howiak is the ADA compliance officer, but I mean, we have 3 lawyers in this department, and it seems everything gets shifted back to somebody else. And not to call out any credibility, but we all know, and we have firsthand experience, that corporate counsel always represents the mayor. Not the city council, not the city, the mayor. If the mayor says it, corporate counsel's job is to make it legal. Find a way to make it legal. So it's ridiculous. And then you've got the attorney general who turns around and tells me this week, it's not our job to represent the people. We only represent the state and the commissions.
Yeah, the hell with the Massachusetts state constitution.
The hell with the Constitution. Article 5 means absolutely nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So, you get this over and over again. So we have a law, Mass General Law 59, Section 21C, which governs 2.5. Fall River has violated it numerous times over the past couple of years, continues to violate it in this new budget. I sent it to the Attorney General for enforcement because DOI says file a lawsuit. And what's the Attorney General tell me? Go out and get an attorney and file a lawsuit. Now, do you understand why your government, our government, this government sucks?
Yeah, that's a pretty good descriptive adjective. But
no matter what, they don't do their job. So Maura Healey, Attorney General, right there to you, because you know what? Obviously, you don't represent the people, and you are violating your oath of office because you're not upholding the Massachusetts Constitution. And I took that same oath of office that you did.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, it's not a... Look, all we got to do is look and turn on one of the local media, especially, 10 has been really covering it heavy, I know, that of what's going on in Rhode Island about the grants and who the grants go to and who the jobs go to, and it happens everywhere. The moral of that story is Fall River isn't unique. We just do it a little bit more often and a little bit more obviously. But the fact is, this is the moral. You can't trust politicians. Politicians are there for their own benefit. They take care of all their friends. They spend as much of your money as they can, and they only worry about how much controlling spending when you're looking at them under a microscope, and they're afraid to lose their lucrative positions. That's the reality of this situation. If you believe that they're operating in your best interest, that hot dog or chow mein sandwich they gave you when they were looking for your vote, it's not a good deal.
It wasn't free.
You got a free chow mein sandwich, and now they're going to send you to the poorhouse again. Wait till you get your fees and your tax increases this year, and this is why, until they learn better, we need to overturn anything they do, or go into receivership, or get a 112 budget. And if this city council approves this budget with all this stuff in it and all these inaccurate numbers, they should all be thrown out of office. The fact is that, listen, next year when they complain, they should all be brought up on charges of malfeasance.
Yep. Monday, we're not broadcasting live. Our special, The Two. Screw up? ? Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and remember, stay angry. You can take control of your government. Let the revolution begin.
And remember the veterans, male and female, who gave their lives for our country.